The top stories tonight in Y News. 6 Bureau of Customs officials from the port of Subic were relieved for their supposed involvement in the alleged smuggling of sugar. The Department of Social Welfare and Development will no longer be accepting walk-ins during the distribution of financial assistance to indigent students to avoid crowding at the payout sites. DepEd to implement zero-tolerance policy on the alleged bullying by a teacher during the first day of classes. Dugong has officially been declared extinct in China. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, August 24, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts. I am William Theo. First in the news, at least 6 customs officials have been transferred to the office of the Bureau of Customs Commissioner pending results on an investigation into the alleged sugar smuggling in the country. Nel Maribohok reports why.
May mga transferred na ilang mga customs officials pending investigation of alleged smuggling yung nakalagay po sa office order of sugar at Port of Subic.
The palace has announced that the Customs Bureau has reassigned 6 of its employees as part of an investigation into possible sugar smuggling at the Port of Subic in Zambales. Last August 18, an attempt was made at the Port of Subic to smuggle some 140,000 bags or the equivalent of 7,000 metric tons of imported sugar from Thailand. The officials have reportedly been transferred to the office of Acting Customs Commissioner Yogi Filimon Ruiz pending the outcome of the investigation, according to Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles. Among the reassigned officials are Marites Martin, the District Collector, Deputy Collector for Assessment Maita Acevedo, Giovanni Ferdinand Laines, Deputy Collector for Operations, Belinda Lim, Chief of Assessment Division, Vincent Mark Malasmas, Commander of Enforcement Security Service, and Justin Roman Geli, Customs Intelligence and Investigation Service or CIIS Supervisor. Initial investigation revealed that the BOC-CIIS had found evidence of recycled permits, which refers to import permits that had previously been used in an older sugar allocation. If evidence demonstrates that any of the Bureau's port personnel are cooperating with smugglers using recycled sugar import permits, Secretary Angeles warned that heads may roll at the BOC.
Gusto kong i-emphasize dito na if there is sufficient evidence, kunwari nakikita natin na may basihan para sa investigasyon, iimbestigahan sila. And pagka sufficient na yung ebidensya, reasonable na yung amount ng ebidensya, then subject to administrative proceedings na sila. Ang pinakamatinding penalty sa administrative case, alam naman po natin, ay dismissal from office, pero without prejudice to criminal charges.
Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the retail prices of sugar are expected to stabilize according to the Sugar Regulatory Administration. According to the agency, the sugar milling already began, which could help in destabilizing prices of sugar in a month's time. Full operations of sugar milling are expected to begin mid-September. Some supermarkets are selling refined sugar for 70 pesos per kilo. Meanwhile, sugar supply has been an issue for the past weeks after an illegal importation order was signed seeking to import 300,000 metric tons of sugar. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. denied the said order and said that the country only needs more than 100,000 metric tons of sugar. Investigation on the said sugar importation order is ongoing to determine whether the former officials of the SRA should be held accountable and whether the country needs to import sugar. Tropical storm Florita's damage to agriculture has cost at least 3 million pesos. According to the Department of Agriculture, the amount translates to a total volume loss of 220 metric tons of agricultural products, affecting a total of 310 farmers and 628 hectares of agricultural land as of August 24. Rice harvests were the most seriously affected crop. High-value crops were also affected, notably a variety of vegetables. The DA gave assurance that they will provide to affected farmers and fishers. Families devastated by the severe tropical storm Florita have received 1.1 billion pesos in aid from the Department of Social Welfare and Development and local government entities in northern Luzon and the National Capital Region. DSWD Undersecretary Marco Bautista said that the money went to help distressed families in localities as well as those in evacuation camps from Regions 1, 2, 3, Cordillera Administrative Region, and NCR. He claims that the storm affected 2,213 households or 7,616 people from these places and that precautionary evacuation orders were put in place for people living in flooded areas. Additionally, 620 families from the NCR were also evacuated. Inmates from Pototan, Iloilo carried placards expressing their hunger during a demonstration on Wednesday. The inmates climbed onto the roof of their prison building to protest the lack of food in their facility. According to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, spokesperson Xavier Solda, they received the chief inspector in the BJMP jail from his post because of the incident. He also said that an investigation will be conducted to shed light on the issue. Solda also said that dialogue between the inmates and the BJMP is underway. The BJMP Visayas has also been instructed to attend to the concerns of the inmates.
And for the news abroad, Ukraine celebrates the country's Independence Day despite of warnings that Russia might attack on their national holiday. Ia De Vera will give us the details live. Yes, Ia.
Of independence from Soviet Union this week, but fears are growing because of warnings.
In other news, in Europe, 47% of the continent is currently under a drought alert, and what could be the worst catastrophe in 500 years. The Global Drought Observatory's latest report shows that the severe drought has affected many regions of Europe since the start of this year. The dry spell is expected to hit crop yields, spark wildfires in Europe's southern region, and may last for several months. Europe's rivers have also dried up to some extent, which affected the energy sector and the hydroelectric power dropping significantly by 20%. Unfortunately, the ongoing water shortages and heat wave were becoming worse and expanding far beyond warnings of potential famine as of early August. The drought will also likely occur until November. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Marielle. The Department of Social Welfare and Development announced that it will no longer allow walk-ins when distributing financial aid to indigent students. JP Nunez will tell us why.
To avoid repeating the chaos that arose during the first payout of the educational cash assistance for students in crisis situation last Saturday, for the succeeding payouts, the Department of Social Welfare and Development will no longer accept walk-ins.
Iniiwasan ho natin na yung walk-in muna kasi kailangan ho nating ayusin, kailangan ho natin i-fine-tune ho ito. Kasi inaasahan na pag nag-walk-in ho ulit ma'am, dadagsa po yung tab.
Social Welfare Secretary Erwin Tulfo insists their clients should have texted or registered online with the department prior to the schedule of cash distribution. The individuals who will be eligible to receive the educational cash assistance will be confirmed via text message by DSWD. DSWD and the DILG earlier signed a memorandum of agreement stating that local government units will assist with the payout. Prior registration is a welcome development according to DILG Secretary Benher Abalos, since it allows for the planning of their payout centers at the municipal level.
What is important here, malaman namin gaano ba talaga karaming tao ang dadagsa sa susunod na Sabado. Importante sa amin yun para mapaghandaan natin kung ilang sites ang kinakailangan. No? So, maganda naman ang sistema ngayon dahil may online registration, maasabihan namin kaagad.
Alphabetical order system for those who will line up on cash distribution is also being considered by the two secretaries. Meanwhile, DSWD will alter the schedule for disbursing educational cash assistance in areas affected by Typhoon Florita.
Yung mga lugar ho na tinamaan ng bagyo na may mga baha pa, siguro wala ho muna tayong payout ho doon dito po sa Field Office 1. Malalaman ho namin yan sa mga regional directors namin kung may mga nasira, yung mga flooded areas, wala po silang oras na mag-ayos. So, i-move ho namin siguro sa another weekend para makarecover ho muna sila.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, the teacher who allegedly verbally abused a student in grade 5 on the first day of class will face administrative proceedings according to the Department of Education or DepEd. Janice Inhente has the story.
The Department of Education reiterated that the organization has zero-tolerance policy against any forms of abuse. This follows a report that a teacher in Camarines Norte allegedly verbally abused a grade 5 student during the first day of classes. A netizen who believes to be the student's aunt shared in a viral post last Monday that the learner received insults from the teacher during class hours. The teacher allegedly called the student stupid based on the post, causing trauma to the student. Officials from the school division office met with the victim's parents on Tuesday, August 23, according to DepEd spokesperson attorney Michael Powa. According to its rules, the teacher will be subject to administrative proceedings and the agency will take the incident very seriously. POA added that psychological first aid was being provided to the learner by trained personnel from the school health section, while the student's psychosocial status was also being monitored. The DepEd directed the school head to submit a report on the incident and an intake sheet for the child protection policy to the regional director within 72 hours of the incident's occurrence. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some public utility vehicle operators, according to the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, have postponed their operations. This even though more than 100 PUV routes opened for the school opening. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
Several operators of public utility vehicles face challenges in the resumption of their operation. PUV operators explain that aside from maintenance issues of the vehicles that have not operated for more than 2 years due to pandemic, some have expired registration. Based on the records of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, from the 33 routes open for the public utility bus alone, only 28 routes have buses who applied for special permit. This is equivalent to over 3,000 bus units, while the LTFRB is expecting about 1,000 more to apply for the special permit. LTFRB Chairperson Cheloy Garafil says this primarily hindered the operation of some PUVs in the routes newly opened by the agency.
may mga areas pa din po na hindi fully deployed yung ating mga PUBs kasi daw ay nag-aayos pa raw po sila ng mga sasakyan dahil matatandaan natin 2 years din po sila na hindi nagbiyahe. Kaya marami pong mga mechanical consideration at saka mga administrative na issues pa na kanilang inaayos.
The LTFRB further says that the number of PUV operators appealed to waive the penalties in the re-registration of their vehicles, especially those with expired franchise. Garafilo explains they are considering the said appeal of the PUVs.
Under review po lahat ng mga franchise holders at saka yung mga expired franchise holder at tinitingnan po namin yung number ng mga hindi talaga at yun ang magiging target po ng siguro pagbibigay natin ng waiver ng kanilang mga penalties.
The LTFRB plans to add more PUV routes and units in preparation for the full implementation of face-to-face classes in November. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Maynilad Water Services Incorporated has been ordered by the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System to provide justification for why it failed to notify customers in advance of water service outages within its coverage area. Ray Pelayo reports.
This restaurant in Malabon City, which is open 24 hours a day, is one of several that encounters water interruption at night.
Mahirap kasi doon pa sila, malayo pa sila nag-iigib eh. Siyempre hugasan, marami. Kaya kailangan talaga lagi may tubig.
According to MWSS, there are several reports of people who claim they were not informed of the planned water interruption. However, Maynilad immediately addressed this. MWSS would like to know why water interruption is needed by the concessionaire.
So they complied immediately sa ating directive. Hinihintay lang po natin sa kanila yung kanilang explanation kung bakit po nagkaroon ng water service interruption at bakit ganito po kalawak. Kasi around 2.5 million customers nila ay affected.
According to Maynilad, while implementing water interruptions, they took into account the rise in demand of peak hours.
Kasi recently napansin natin na tuwing hours of peak demand, lumalakas ang pangangailangan sa tubig. At kapag lumalakas yan, mas mabilis din yung pagkaubos ng laman ng ating mga imbakan ng tubig. So para ma-ensure na hindi ito madiplita, sa gabi, pinupuno natin yung mga reservoir.
Maynilad is working on infrastructure projects to enhance service and reduce water interruption. MWSS stated that they could ask the concessionaire for a rebate to affected customers if Maynilad's explanation is not validated. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Presidential Commission on Good Government says they do not foresee any new cases against the Marcoses. Eileen Cerudo has the report.
The Presidential Commission on Good Government reported that they no longer foresee any new cases against the Marcos family. During the House Committee on Justice hearing earlier today, the agency reported that as of December 31, 2021, they have recovered 265 billion pesos worth of ill-gotten wealth from the Marcoses and their cronies. Out of the 265 billion, 175 billion pesos is cash recovery, while the 90 billion is on assets, which includes 40 billion pesos worth of Coco Levy shares.
There are no evidence available already in order to prosecute if we intend or there will be some new persons to be involved in ill-gotten cases related to the Marcoses.
Because of this, several lawmakers said the PCGG no longer need to continue. According to Cagayan de Oro Representative Rufus Rodriguez, abolishing the PCGG can be one option, especially when President Ferdinand Marcos called for right-sizing in the government.
The President in his SONA stated that he would initiate the right-sizing of government, right sizing, meaning agencies which may be duplication in work, for other agencies may be downsized. And in the case of the PCGG, it's been since 1986, more than 30 years have passed. At this point, is it the chairman's view that we strengthen the PCGG or be able to abolish the PCGG?
The lawmaker further explains that PCGG has responsibilities that can be done by other agencies such as the Department of Justice and the Office of the Ombudsman. Cavite 4th District Representative Elpidio Barzaga Jr., during his interpellation, asked how can the PCGG continue to file cases against the Marcoses and their cronies if they have not found any new evidence.
How long shall we be waiting? 36 have already elapsed. And do you think that the persons to be charged are still liable criminally? Are they still alive?
PCGG Chairman John Agbayani responded that the PCGG have other responsibilities and roles.
The PCGG has not lost its relevance. It is an agency which is still a consistent non-tax revenue contributor to the national.
Meanwhile, ACT Teachers Party List said the PCGG should be strengthened rather than abolished. In a statement, the group said the PCGG still has to go after about $1 trillion worth more of ill-gotten wealth. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Ukraine celebrates the country's Independence Day despite of warnings that Russia might attack on their national holiday. Ia De Vera will give us the details live. Yes, Ia.
Mariel, Ukraine marks their 31 years of independence from Soviet Union this week, but fears are growing because of warnings that Russia will make fresh attacks in the country. U.S. Embassy on Tuesday issued a security alert warning that Russia is intensifying its effort to initiate strikes, therefore encouraging U.S. citizens to leave Ukraine immediately. The public holiday also marks the war's 6-month point between Russia and Ukraine, which started on February 24th of this year. Kyiv authorities banned public events and gatherings in the capital in fear of missile attacks. Moreover, concerns increases in the country after a car bombing outside Moscow that killed the daughter of one of Russia's most prominent political theorists. Despite ongoing terror in Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky reminded his people to raise their flags and celebrate Independence Day.
І, шановні українці, особливо цими днями, коли ми відзначаємо День нашого прапора і День нашої незалежності, якщо ви перебуваєте десь за кордоном, будь ласка, нагадуйте там про Україну, будьте там з українським прапором і поширюйте правду про злочини окупантів.
Mariel.
Thank you, Ia De Vera reporting live. The National Archives and Records Administration recovered more than 100 documents with classified markings as part of its investigation or ongoing investigation rather into government documents discovered in the estate of former U.S. President Donald Trump. Beverly Saison reports.
Over 100 U.S. government documents marked as classified and top secret were found in former U.S. President Donald Trump's estate in Palm Beach, Florida, USA. An FBI investigation into the alleged unlawful retention of these documents is ongoing. Trump's lawyer Evan Corcoran requested additional time to examine the documents. This is to determine if they are subject to the executive privilege claimed by former President Trump. However, the request was denied by the U.S. Justice Department. They claim there was no precedent allowing a former president to prevent a current president from accessing records needed for current presidential processes. Beverly Saison, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The fragile cetacean known as the dugong has been declared extinct in China. According to research by the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Zoological Society of London, fishing, ship strikes, and habitat destruction brought on by humans have caused a sharp decline in the number of dugong in Chinese waters since the 1970s. The study shows this is the first functional extinction of a large mammal in China's coastal seas, as there has been no indication of their existence in China since 2008. The dugong, which is highly dependent on a diet of seagrass, has been classified as a Grade 1 National Key Protected Animal since 1988 by China's State Council. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
Bahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 31. It says, "He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker, but he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor." Those are the reasons behind the news, August 24, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. We serve the people. We give glory to God.